All right, so obviously, like any Canvas site, we got the Start Here section or Start Here module. Hopefully, the rest of your classes are using this same format. Have you gone on to click this link and learn how to register for the Caduceus?
Yeah, I've already went through the first chapter of like the new.
Okay, great. So that's going to be the brunt of a lot of the stuff. And I'll go through where I'm going to post my lectures and where I'm going to go through my lectures as well, and then kind of the to-do list for this. And then I might hop over to the lab and go through that real quick.
Okay.
But first, obviously, the syllabus, course communications, email, blah, blah, blah. That's all kind of self-explanatory stuff. So this is a super condensed course, a lot of information, normally 16 weeks, but it's only going to be 5 weeks, and really just 4 weeks. So, because the 5th week is the final, so it's a lot. I don't envy you guys who have to take this course, but I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible without compromising the integrity of you learning. So you can go through the overview. They're pretty basic. The objectives are pretty basic as well. It's pretty much the objectives from the beginning of the chapter from the book. Your to-do list will remind you what you need to do. And then here on exam lectures and study guide, this is where I'm going to post my exam lecture videos. And I'm currently working on getting these finalized. It takes a long time to put together these videos. So we'll see. Maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't. Just depends on how many students click on them. I'm going to try and make them as close to the actual what's going to be on the exam as possible. Then you go through your Caduceus assignments. Obviously, the lecture is first. Now, I'll give you a hint. If you want to watch the lecture, you can, or you can just fast forward all the way to the end and the program knows that you finalized it. But I would recommend watching it because it's a pretty good lecture. Then do the flashcards, the handouts. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is download them and you get 1 point. Your drag and define are pretty easy to do. And then you have a self-test. You can do this self-test as many times as possible. This doesn't count towards your grade. It's a pass-fail. So if you do it, you pass. If you don't get the 5 points. And you pretty much have to do it because you can't start the quiz until you complete the self-test. So you automatically get 5 points. So the way I've designed this course is that if you just do this first 5 in each section, you're going to get full credit. The quiz is a good little practice quiz for what's going to be on your test, and it's out of 10 points. This is graded. And if students need more time on this moving forward, I can kind of extend the times. Just send me an email. Then the next portion here on your functions of neuroanatomy is next, and then you go on through. So you kind of see how it's all set up. This first section technically would have been 1 full week, and then this would have been the next week. But obviously we have to cram all this into 1 module. And then after you complete all that, you begin the module exam. So almost every module has an exam at the end of it. This exam is your longest exam, so make sure you set aside time, and all the exams are open note and open book. So if you have your book, use it. If you have notes, use them. If you want to open up a separate computer or try and use the same computer to search information, I'm totally fine with that. I'm a big proponent of using as much resources as possible to complete an exam. The one thing that I will say is be careful using your own computer just in case something crashes. So maybe better to take notes throughout the entire process of the modules and then use those notes and use your book to complete the exam, okay? But also know that the exam is timed, so try not to spend too much time on one question if you're trying to look up the answer, okay? So better to kind of know the knowledge. And if you've gone through all this, you're going to have a pretty good base of knowledge moving into the exam. Okay, but this is the longest exam in the entire course because I had to cram so much into that module. Moving into module 2, it's just 3 chapters, so it's a little bit less than the previous one. And then same thing, same setup. It's that person. So same setup. So go through the overview, the objectives, to-do lists, so on and so forth. I will put up my own lectures here. Hopefully, I'm going to get them done. I have 2 other courses that I'm teaching this summer session and 2 labs. So I have a lot that I have to post. So I'm basically working around the clock. So if I don't get these lectures up, at least the study guides are up, and at least we have the rest of this, which is the nice part about all this. But yeah, so you basically just go through the caduceus like this, and then this one has an exam at the end of it, not as long as the first one, okay? And then it'll be over special senses, so basically eyes, ears, taste, endocrine system, and then your immune system. And then the next 2 modules, which is module 3 and module 4, are combined into the final. So the final is not cumulative, but the final will be all of module 3 and all of module 4, okay? So it's basically going to be the digestive system, nutrition, fluid and electrolytes, and then urine anatomy, urine physiology, and male reproductive and female reproductive system. And then that's basically it. And then once you get through all that, you can take your final exam. Now, there'll still be a quiz at the end of each of these that is for points as well. But at least throughout all of this, you'll be building your points that are basically like freebies. All you have to do is just complete these and you get freebie points, which is nice. So if you don't do too hot on an exam or too great on an exam, probably not that big of a deal because you have a lot of extra points that are going to boost your grade and quizzes that are going to boost your grade. So we have 3 main exams, and then the rest are all these assignments. Okay. Any question on the actual lecture portion? Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. So you can go through that. Let's hop on over to the lab. The lab is set up a little bit similar, although it's a little different. I do have an extra credit in the lab so that if you need to add points to your extra credit, you can do that. And it's basically, or extra credit, if you need to add points to your grade in lab, you can do that. And it's basically just find 2 articles online pertaining to neurology, write a 2-paragraph summary of each. The articles cannot be the same from the lecture. I'm going to add this to the lecture as well, so there's extra credit in the lecture. So you can't use the same articles as you would in the lecture, okay? And then there's information there about that. By the way, this is the instructor view, so your setup looks different than this. I don't know if you saw that and you're like, wait, this is confusing. This is the instructor view of Canvas, and your guys' setup is a little bit different. Okay, so module 1 is almost complete. This is this week. So there's objectives. Your to-do list is the same. You go through, watch the video lectures, complete the lab assignment. Once all lectures and assignments are complete, you can begin the exam. I haven't finished creating the exam yet, so you don't see it here. 2 lectures are up. I just finished the 3rd today. I'm going to post that. And then these lectures are actual full videos with this. My recommendation for the lab is have your lab assignment sheet open, watch the videos, and complete the lab assignment sheet while you're watching the videos. Okay, the reason why is because I literally am looking at your lab sheet and making the lab lecture videos as I go through. And all these are from, I post on YouTube and then repost onto here, okay? So that's the way you want to do that. So the way the labs work is you're always going to have a lab assignment, and then you're going to have a lab exam underneath it. So you can complete the assignment and then complete the lab exam. So for instance, if you go to lab one, this is the lab assignment here. technically, there's 2 labs per week. Lab 2, I don't have an assignment with it. I didn't want to do 2 assignments because there's already so much with your lecture. I didn't want to overload you, okay? So lab, usually I'll have one of the lab will be an assignment, the other lab just a handout. Go through that handout still because there will be questions directly from it. So for instance, if I click on here and we look at the handout, this handout will basically be from the test. So this picture right here is going to be on your test, okay? So if you can study and look this up and figure out what goes where, and I'm also going to go through this on the last 2 lab videos that I have yet to upload. So if you're taking notes while I go through this picture, because I have this picture filled out that I'm going to go over, then you'll be fine. Same with this. So you see that I added both of these. This is going to be on your lab quiz. So I try and make it as easy as possible for your success on the quiz, as well as hopefully you'll learn something as you go through the videos, okay? And then obviously break your plexus, so on and so forth. So we'll go over all that when you actually watch the video. So that's an example of the assignment. So you'll pull up the assignment. One will be an actual assignment you have to complete and turn in. The next lab for that week will just be a handout because I don't want you doing 2 assignments in 1 lab week. It's just a lot. And then there'll be the exam underneath. And basically, each module will be set up that way. So there'll be 2 labs here, 2 labs here, 2 labs here, 2 labs here. There is no Caduceus software with the labs. So the labs will be completely separate from that. And you'll just go through it, okay? Other than that, I think that's it, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, the only question I do have is, are we going to have regular Zoom meetings?
No, I don't. I'm not going to make. That's called synchronous. So, synchronous lecturing. I don't think I'm going to do regular Zoom meetings unless I get some emails. If you guys want Zoom meetings, I'll by all means do them. I don't mind it. In previous semesters, like in summer session 1 when I taught, I started to have the Zoom meetings, but it would be like 1 or 2 students that would log on. So I was like, okay, I'll just do them by appointment. So everything's going to be asynchronous and everything will be videos. Some will be actually videos where you see me and I'm holding up models like, the brain model I'll be holding up.
Okay.
And then some will be where it's a PowerPoint or a combination of those. So that's that. Any other questions?
Yeah, I do. I just started doing some of the assignments, and on the handouts, there's a case study that you can fill out. Is there any place to turn that in, or is that just for our benefit?
Well, that's just for your purposes, just to have. You don't need to turn that in. That's just for practice. So this is the first time we're utilizing that e-text software, and we're probably going to adopt it for all the courses. So if you guys, if I get feedback from you all that say, man, that case study is kind of interesting, you should make that into an assignment, then I'll probably change that for future semesters, since this is the first time we're using that software. So I think this software is going to be a little bit better than the textbook because nobody ever reads the textbook. And this software is really interactive. So from here on out, the textbook is actually going to be optional. Sorry, you guys had to buy it. And anyway, so I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Great. If there's no other questions, then I think we're good unless you guys need anything else. And I'm going to format this video and then post it onto an announcement so that everyone can see it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks. If you guys need anything, shoot me an email as the semester goes and we can do more Zoom meetings or not. So if you got any questions, just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.